Hello, this is Lisa LaRose here on Connect to Love on PRN-FM, and I'm joined by the incredible Michael J. Russ here on this Valentine's Day. I want to say welcome, Michael, and happy Valentine's to you.
Thank you. Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. This is Connect to Love, so we are all about love, and this is our day.
It is, truly, truly, and my heart is overflowing. I just, I feel you in my heart, and I think about all of the things that you inspire me, and it's just an honor and a pleasure, and it's a delight to have all of our audience members tuning into us. I mean, we have people from all over the world, and we feel you in our heart, and we're so grateful that you're here. And we wish you a happy Valentine's Day, not just on Valentine's, but every day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, we have to have that mindset. If we're talking about love 365, love, think it, act it, be it, do it, intend it, all of those things. It makes life much more fulfilling. And it
does.
Yeah, love is the essence of who we are. So in this life or any other life, love is the one constant. Love and life are the one constant. Are the constants that we have, and that it's why we seek it. In my view, in this world, in this life, we seek it our entire lives. We seek a depth of it that we seek to obtain a depth of it that it's like a lifelong intention for that reason.
It is. So true. It's so true. And I think, Michael, I was thinking about you this morning, and I thought, when I was a kid, I would imagine that if you and I went to the same school, that we would have been friends and that we would have been out there on the playground creating lots of fun antics and lots of different things that we would be doing besides playing. We used to play cops and robbers and Batman and Robin, and I would always want to be Catwoman. The Catwoman had to be a good character in my game. And, we didn't have a lot of these distractions, so we invented a lot of things. And I have a question, Michael. When you were a little kid, did anybody dare you to do something, or did they double dog dare you to do anything?
Double dog dare. Listen, I lived so many places. I went to 4 elementary schools, so there was a lot of moving around. I'm sure somebody at some point did. I can't be specific about what it was, but I mean, today I've talked about it on the show all the time. I dare myself to approach bands and people that don't know me, and to sit down to see if they'll let me sit in and play a few songs with them wherever I am in the world. And that's the dare I have that I give myself, that I enjoy realizing. And as far as back when I was a kid, I'd say, I mean, it's bound to have happened. I just can't be specific. I'm sure somebody dared me to go talk to a friend of mine, said go talk to that girl, or dare you to ask her out on a date, let's go get some ice cream or whatever it was. I'm just the kind of guy that I know. Back then I was rather shy. I don't think that I didn't do it. I don't think I didn't do it. I think I just challenged myself to do it. Someone says, hey, I dare you. When someone says, hey, if someone would say, I dare you, the first thing I would think of is this legal? Is this going to get anybody in trouble? Is there any negativity involved in this dare? Right? And if it's some negativity involved, then no, of course not. If I'm going to make somebody feel bad, or if somebody is going to have negative feelings emanate from whatever it is I do, no, I'm not going to do it. However, you think about it for a moment, and you say, okay, I dare you to go do this or go do that. And if there's no negativity involved, there's a rush. Why not? What have you got to lose? We have to, in my view, train ourselves to, on a lower level, through positive dares, to take a risk. And then when it comes to a bigger level, when there's no negativity involved, but a lot more on the line, we, at that particular point, may also feel more comfortable taking a risk, going after that dare and realizing it, making a success out of it. I think that's the beauty of that concept, and we are called Connect to Love, and love is the biggest dare in the world, in my view. Relationship connection is could be the biggest dare for people, because it involves a lot of different things. It involves you being, vulnerable, opening yourself up to the possibility of rejection, which a lot of people run from like the plague, and in doing so, really don't develop a positive sense of self, and the resilience to that is necessary to really succeed in life from a relationship perspective, relational connection. Not everybody is going to acquiesce to your desires. If you want to go out with them, if you'd like to go go get an ice cream or go get a cup of coffee, talk, whatever. This is not the world we live in. The social media world. There's the kind of dares that exist there are dangerous, and they're from people we don't even know, which blows me away. How people by influencers get dared to go do ridiculous things that could be dangerous, and in many ways are, and to someone involved, and they go do them. And I don't know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's a different world than you and I grew up in when it comes to dares. A different world.
Yeah, no, when we were, we played, when you got to be an adolescent, you played Truth or Dare, right?
Right.
Or you had to kiss somebody, right? Or go in a closet for a few minutes and
Truth or Dare.
Nothing. Yeah, Truth or Dare, right?
I have not heard that in eons. I haven't heard that term. Truth or Dare.
But I would
wow.
that people play it all over the world, right? So I think that what it is, and you think about what it is with dares, and when you're young, when you're first in like first grade or whatever, and you with your group of friends, and you just sort of laugh yourself silly, really, because you're like, oh, well, I dare you to eat those worms, or I dare you to eat that dirt, or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And then you just laugh and no. But there's always somebody, because that dare is out there, that it becomes irresistible, because it's just that there. And then you get the double dog dare, which I think the phrase, I was curious about it, because I thought, well, where the heck did that originate? And they said somebody thought it was like right around the 1900s. And I thought, wow, all of the different things that were out there at that time, pulling your leg, or, laughing yourself silly, or whatever the phrases are. But I think daring is a pretty, and especially as you put it, in relationship to our connection to love. And it is maybe even just daring to love ourselves enough to open ourselves up to that, taking that chance. Now, when I was a kid, we used to pass notes, and and then you get all giggly and say, oh yeah, no, he saw that. Oh, I think he likes you. And it is, I think that I don't know, I'm not that same age anymore. I'm not 6 or 7 or even 10, whatever. And so I don't know if kids are still playing those games. I would like to think that they do. And as you said, things have changed. But when we dare ourselves, it really, it gives us an extra layer of challenge. I think that, there's no shame in backing down, whatever it is that you're doing in that realm. And as oftentimes, I'm always inspired. And there was a quote that said that risk can be dangerous, but routine can be deadly. Comfort has killed more dreams than daring ever did. And I think that daring to dream, daring to love is so important for each one of us. It's so easy to succumb to fear. And we've talked about that a lot on the show, that how do you overcome that? We'd like to all have a little magic genie that could take us from point A to point Z. But it doesn't happen like that. We have to go through each step, each growth, every little bit of challenge, hurdle, whatever it is. And a lot of times daring ourselves it's a very personal journey. I, like you, Michael, I was pretty shy. I was always the new kid. So I was the infiltrator at, in different times. It wasn't always at the beginning of the year that I was the new kid. It would be in the middle of the year. And, everybody's got their group. And so, for me, I think I got really good at that, daring to say, can I sit here? Or daring to say, can I join your game? Or, do you want to come over and play? All of those things. And I learned that resilience of taking a chance, because otherwise I think I would have had a very lonely childhood.
Of course.
And I know you know that like as well.
Yeah, you moved a lot like I did. We came across, I had a lot of very unique experiences, experiences that I know that parents today are in our country, United States, just by virtue of, the way parenting goes, I wouldn't have had an opportunity to have done many things that I actually did that weren't necessarily inherently dangerous, but they were exciting. I grew up, I'll give you a little example. I grew up when I was in the Philippines for 2 years. And as you know, when you're on a base, and Clark Air Base in the Philippines during the 60s, at the beginning of, the Vietnam War, it was like little America. There are thousands of Americans there, and families, and kids in the school, in elementary school, high school, whatever. And so you because we didn't have the internet and TV or any of those things, didn't have any of that. For 4 years, I had no television. In 2 different countries, in there and Taiwan. But when you're there, in order to thrive, you thrive via connection to other youth, other kids in school. You get the kids on base in the housing area. You get to know them. You have pickup games of baseball and football and flag football, tackle football, you name it. That's what you do. You thrive via connection, and you learn to thrive via connection. And as part of that, you have to dare yourself to make friends. You have to get out there, and otherwise you're going to be by yourself in a country whose language you don't speak. It's just the way it is. You're not living on the economy when you're on a base. I have lived on an economy in a foreign country. It's completely different. However, being on a base, you have to tap into your and develop strength to connect with people. And so a lot of what we did, my brother and sister and I, is we just connected with kids in the neighborhood, and we went out and we did things, and we joined. Our parents were very into having us engage in sports and other things. We get out on the playground at elementary school, and we would go do cool things like find World War II shrapnel and
wow.
bullets, shell casings.
Amazing.
That stuff is just rampant all over the South Pacific. There's not an island that you can go to that you're not going to find that kind of stuff, because the war was fought. World War II was fought everywhere in the Pacific theater, everywhere, every island. And so we had that. We had fun. I came home. I left there with I don't know where it is now. I left there with a box of stuff. A box of things that I'd found on the playground, and
wow,
it was really cool. You do it with other kids. You're out. You have different interests and different things that you actually do, and it's fun to do that. But you have to. The hinges, the foundation of it all, is daring to put yourself out there, daring to put yourself out there and make a connection. And I know some parents here that I've met that actually do that with their kids, and others that really don't, because of fear of who they're going to connect with, who they're going to meet, who are their parents, where they live, what are all these questions, right? What kind of people are they? You're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. These are kids. We all have to learn how to connect and to decipher our environment is, I think, more relevant, is to understand and get to understand what's right and what's wrong, so that you have a sense of self, you have a sense of purpose, you have a sense of right or wrong, you develop some ethics and morals in life philosophies that can take you anywhere you want to go. And if you don't have that opportunity, then you're going to, as an adult, put yourself in situations that could be even more dangerous, if you're dared to do things. Because, we want to connect with people, let's put it that way. But we don't want to connect with people to the extent so badly that we, because of how we feel about ourselves or because of our desires, because we never really learned how to do it in our youth, and so now we put ourselves in dangerous situations to connect with people, right? Mm-hmm. It does happen. I mean, it seriously does happen. So there's learning how to be daring in your life is so incredibly important. I'm not a parent. I've never been one. However, I would simply tell parents out there, like mine did, they allowed us to be daring. They allowed us to go out and make mistakes. If we had an idea, a thought, allowed us to go out and live or die by doing it, so to speak, not in a literal sense, but either succeed or fail, learn the lesson that needed to be learned from it, and talk about it, and move forward from it. There was a great quote that you had. Can you tell our audience that quote that you had that was so cool about daring?
Yeah. It was another thing that came into my feed. It's so interesting. I think sometimes the universe nudges me. I not even sometimes, it nudges me all the time. So this came across my feed, and it said, dare to begin, dare to try, dare to fail, dare to fall, dare to dream so big it takes your breath away, dare to amaze yourself, dare to say, why the hell not? Dare to spend the rest of your days dancing on the branches and knowing that if they break, you are strong enough to fly.
That's living.
That's just, wow.
That's living. That is living. That is living. That is living. That's all I can say. And to do any of those things, if you can be that, exemplify that, your life is going to be incredibly full. And the sense of accomplishment, the sense of self, the sense of purpose, the sense of understanding who you are, being comfortable in your own skin, it will be immense. It will absolutely be immense. I love that. Who wrote that?
It's so interesting because the signature was in a cursive that was not very legible, because I'd love to be able to give this person credit. But I love the idea of, being on a branch. I mean, you think about that's really what life is. I mean, we have this tree of life, right? And these branches that extend, and some of them, are very, very strong limbs. They've been there. I think that could be our support system. It can be things like this show. It's my connection to you. It's that connection to the heart. It's those very strong branches. Those will support you. But sometimes, in order to get out to the next limb, we have to test it. And
test the waters.
Sometimes, it is. And if they break, you watch a little bird. I have had the pleasure of raising little baby birds, and that have fallen from the nest, and just watching that process and teaching them all the things that they needed to know. And the 3 that I had the last time, and I took everything out of this bedroom and I ordered worms and got them dirt, and everybody said, no, you're not going to successfully raise them. They'll never go out, whatever. And, one day they were naked little pink baby robins, and then they got their pin feathers, and then they got this. And every time I walked in the room, they would see me as their mother, but I didn't, I wanted to give them that independence. And one day I walked in the room, and they were sitting up on the top of my curtain rods, and I'm like, oh, we're getting there. And then I would talk to them about cats, and I would tell them about the street and all the things they had to worry about in the world. And I filled up water so I could teach them how to, I'd dig for worms and find their own food, and showed them the berries. But one day I was like, you know what? it's time. And the night before I opened up the window for them, I bawled my eyes out, honestly. I guess, you guys are going to have a wonderful life. And right the next morning, I opened up the window and the screen, and and when I came back, 2 of them were gone. One of them was still there, and I said, you can take your time. You don't have to feel like you got to leave right now. But the next day, it was gone, and I get these robins that come into my yard, and they chirp at me, and I like to think that they were descendants of the ones that I saved. But it's that same thing, knowing when to let go and allow somebody to fly and follow their dreams. And in my case, it was the baby birds. But there's just so much in that. And my mother was a big proponent of that. She always used to say, "You've got everything you need. Now go fly. Spread your wings and fly." And I really appreciated that about her. And I think that's as like you said, I've never parented, but if I did have children, I would encourage them the same. And I would encourage every one of our audience members, if there's something that you want to do, you test that and know that you are strong enough. Know that you have what it takes. And there was another quote by Rumi, and it was right in alignment. And it was always remember that you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. And to that, I would add, strong enough to fly.
I love it.
And that when you dare to do that, you absolutely. So, Michael, are there any branches that you've danced on lately, or memorable ones that you would like to share that have really taken your breath away? That your life would have been different had you not dared to do that?
Interesting. I recently set up an Etsy shop. So in a couple of months ago, and launched it January 1, and that's a branch that I'm walking out on. Because there's a large learning curve with a lot of what's going on. So that's my latest dare to myself, with regard to how it turns out. I have pretty much, when you do things like this, you have to release your attachment to the actual how, with regard to the outcome. How is it going to be what you want it to be? And simply focus on the journey and love every minute of the journey. Love what you do. Get up in the morning thinking about it, and going to bed thinking about it, and loving the process, the step-by-step process. So in relation to your question, it'd be like, you see that branch, you see the end of the branch, and you wonder, how far on the branch can I go before I fall? How strong can this branch be? And sometimes, and you just basically, you focus on the fear and the doubt, or do you focus on just simply inching your way out? And I'm inching my way out with the belief that if the branch decides to not hold my weight, I will safely reach the ground and be able to climb back up the tree and get back on the branch, or a different branch, on the same tree. And that's the way I very much approach it. And this is a big dare for me. Big dare. I haven't really done any business-associated things in 12 years, since the last branch that I was on kind of collapsed. And it's just like, if you fall off the horse, you get to get back on the horse. If you fall off the jet ski, it comes around, you get back on it. You get a choice. You can get on and ride back to the beach and give it back to the people you rented it from, or you can get out and you can ride and learn how to do it properly, and so that you stay on. Surfing, same way. You're going to fall off a dozen times. However, if you fall in love with the process and not the end result, it's going to be a really enjoyable journey. Really, really enjoyable. And that's what I do. I fall in love with the bits and pieces, and don't focus on, let the end result take care of itself. Let the end result take care of itself. And I do the same thing. It's interesting. I haven't had to really, relationship-wise, connect with somebody new from a love interest perspective in 20 years. However, that was exactly the way that I approached relationships, about connecting with people, love interests, possible, potential love interests, whatever. You have to fall in love with the various steps that it takes to connect with someone on that level. And friendship is one of them. Can you be friends? That's the one thing that the one question I always ask myself: can we be friends? What is it about this that there's obviously the chemical attraction. However, beyond that, chemical only lasts so long. This is the one thing I've learned in my 6.5 decades on this planet. The chemical attraction of between two people can only happen. It's only going to last so long, and then you're going to be. You're going to wake up one day, and those endorphins and dopamine hits that you've been getting from the relationship, the connection with that particular person, aren't there anymore. Now you're into everyday living, connecting with that person on an even deeper level. You have that choice. You're either going to do it or you're not, right? So you have to put yourself in a mindset of, from the very beginning, is this somebody I would be friends with? Could I be friends with this person? What do we have in common? What do we like? And beyond the chemical connection that's there, it's because otherwise you'll wake up one day wondering how you got where you got. You made decisions that weren't based on what you really loved about yourself and your life. And sometimes what happens is you forego what you love to embrace what somebody else loves, right? And in that situation, you give up part of yourself to be with someone else. And in reality, that isn't reality. Reality, sooner or later, you're going to say, I love those things that I did. I love the things I'm passionate about that made me feel good about life. I'm not doing them. Right? And I need to be doing it. And the other person needs to know that you're passionate about those things that you do. And get an opportunity, have an opportunity to yay or nay them. I'm not interested in that. I'm repulsed by that. I don't have any interest in that. And then you got to ask yourself, well, if I like this thing, if this makes me feel good about life, and this is what made me feel good enough to want to attract this other person. Because this is what happens. We know we resonate all these positive vibes from engaging in the things that we really love in life. And other people are attracted. Like Bashar always says, and Carol Collins always says the same thing. When you're resonating joy, when you're resonating love, when you're resonating self-love, when you're resonating love of your life, a love for everything, passion. That is a magnet. You are a magnet for love. You're a magnet for other people. People say, wait, how do I get that? How do I get that? Right? How can I be like that? That's what you are. You're like this magnet attracting all this positivity to you. And the beautiful thing is, most people don't even realize it.
Right.
It's beautiful in that they don't realize it. It's not beautiful in the fact that people are attracted to people in a relational connection perspective, and they don't know why they're attracted to them. They're attracted to what they're putting out, but not what's generating it. They don't know what's generating it. I always want to know what's generating it. What's generating that love? What's that joy? What's generating that joy? What's behind it? That person may be a world-class musician or magician, could be whatever.
Yeah, sure.
They might be, they're doing something that's making them feel good about life, and that's something that you're attracted to. And they're passionate about it. You share that passion. You're attracted to that passion, to the feelings that emanate from that passion, the joy, the happiness, the self-love. And you're going, wow, that's so awesome. Right? It's just, you cannot help but be attracted by it. And where we as a people generally fail, if you can use that word, is to dig deeper and discover, what's this person doing? What kind of, and I could relate it, bring it right back to daring. That person dared themselves to do, and to have whatever it is that's making them joyful and happy. And I always want to know, what is that? I want to know what that is. These are questions we have to start asking of ourselves.
You're right. And I think self-love is definitely a prerequisite for loving other people, because when you have that, I have a friend of mine that I met actually when I was shopping at a thrift store, and she was so dynamic. And it's so strange. I said to her, I said, you must have thought like I was a stalker, because I looked at her and I thought, this girl is amazing, and I want to know who she is, and I want to be friends with her, because I could feel her. And we're very good friends now. And because and that's exactly what I said to her when I met her. I said, and it's nothing. I was so attracted to the person she is, and her dynamic. She's so multifaceted, and I could just feel that. Like, she's a gourmet cook. She cooks the most amazing dinners for her husband every night. She's lived in Africa. She's just a whole ball of fire. An entrepreneur, you name it. She's not afraid to try anything. But I could feel that about her, and I thought, this is somebody I would love to have as a friend.
Right.
And I was so grateful that she was receptive, and I took her out for her birthday a few weeks ago, and that's what I said. I said, you must have thought like I was some nut. But people like that, I think sometimes are very rare. And that when you feel that connection, you feel, and in our relationship, I know that she values me as a friend as much as I value her as a friend, and that there is something that's bigger than the both of us, that the universe put us together so that who knows what is meant to evolve. And I think in a relationship, if it's even a love relationship, and I'm so glad that you brought up like that self-love, Michael, because a lot of times there's that attraction. You think, wow, he or she is really hot. I would love to connect with them. But they may be, like as in your case, they may be a golfer. And you might say, well, oh, sure, I love golf. But you don't really like golf. And so, well, you want to go out on the golf course with me? Well, then that person will end up, you'll start resenting, well, why are you going golfing all the time? Well, when you met me, you knew that was something that I was passionate about. Yeah. And I think that there's some discernment in that. And again, the same thing, like even daring yourself, well, you want to know that person. And sometimes it's just like saying, okay, well, I need, I'm refining what I'm looking for in a partner. And I can take this aspect and that person, and I appreciate that, but they're not the match for me, so I'm going to dare to let that go so that I can open up to the possibility of finding the person who's is a good match for me, rather than making two people miserable, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What a great example of someone who is attracted to the energy that is derived from someone else's daring, and not really connecting themselves or drawing lines or connecting lines between what is making them so amazing as an individual, self-loving, confident. It's that golf. It was golf. It was that thing that they were doing, but they were. When you meet somebody like that, like your friend, you're benefiting, and you're attracted to the energy that they're putting out from the daring, the risks they've taken in their life, the successes that they've had, and how they've handled their failures. It's all of that. It's like this whole package of somebody who is pretty amazing, who's gone out and taken life by the hand, and guided it wherever it is they wanted it to go. That's beautiful. We have to. That's the thing that I tell people. It's like exactly what you said. Figure out what is causing, what's creating that energy, and revel in the energy and learn something from it. I wrote something while you were watching. Is latching on to other people's daring energy is powerful. Can be self-empowering if you approach it that way. Other people's daring energy. I'll call it daring energy, because that's what a lot of people have is daring energy. Now, some people are, their daring energy can be self-destructive, where they put themselves at risk to the point where, they're adrenaline junkies, right? They're hooked on adrenaline. Not so much it's an addiction for them, is what I'm saying. And as I believe it was Carol Collins that the teachers that said addiction is not a good thing. You got to look at the reason why you're doing something, the underlying motivation behind why you are doing something that you're doing. Is it a positive motivation or a negative motivation? And people who are adrenaline junkies, who have to be out doing something that puts their life on the line all the time to feel alive, that particular motivation can be destructive, self-destructive more than anything else. Connecting with that energy, it's powerful, it's potent. However, it can be very self-destructive in the end, and the flame can burn out a little bit too soon by being engaged in that. And so, anyway, that's something that there's always two sides to the same coin. What we are talking about here is the daring to live life to its fullest extent, and to accept opportunities to take risks that can help you grow in a positive way, that can help you, instead of being a linear growth, being a growth that is, basically takes a giant leap forward. That can happen. And somehow I feel, I don't know, I get the sense that we as souls have intentions, and we're not privy to what those intentions are. And we go off in all these different directions, and when we find ourselves stagnating someplace, it takes our guide or our higher self has to take a cosmic 2x4 and kind of rattle us a bit, shake us out of our complacency, And there was something else that you said with regard to daring, with regard to when it came to complacency. I wrote it down somewhere, but I know you know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? What you said
right
before the show started? Please share that with our audience, because I think it's brilliant.
Really, knowing that in your life, it's about taking chances. And I truly believe that, in this world, we can have everything we want in life. And a lot of times we want to see ourselves, and I see this in so many different things. It's like you want to have that crystal ball so you can see how everything unfolds, and then you miss the magic, right? You are on this journey of life, and it's what we came here to do. It's what we came here to be a part of. I mean, and as you said, I love it, because you said musician, but you actually said magician, and I like that idea. What if we were all magicians in our lives? We don't know what we're going to pull out of that hat. And I don't remember, there was a fractured fairy tales or something like that, where the magician would pull something out of the hat, and it would be the wrong thing. It wouldn't be a rabbit. It would be this, and then it would be that, and then it would be this, and he just kept trying until he pulled the rabbit out of the hat. I have to see if I can figure out what that cartoon was. I loved cartoons when I was a kid, and but you don't know what you're going to pull out. And I think that that's part of the thing when you have that part of your childhood when somebody does double dog dare you. What are the things that you dare yourself to become something other than what you are? I mean, it's really easy to get up in the morning and do the same routine because it's safe. And it's not easy. And I really applaud you, Michael, because in starting your own Etsy store, there's a lot of learning. And I have the same vision, in the same process that you are. And there's lots of different things that aren't in your wheelhouse or in your skill set. You've done the business that you've been in for years. It's easy to keep going in that same realm. But to try something new and to say, I'm uncomfortable, I don't know everything, I'm figuring things out, I'm making a mistake here, it's okay. I'm learning. Mm-hmm. I love myself enough to take that chance, that opportunity. And you're not being reckless. You're not, investing in a business that you would be millions of dollars. You're doing something that, I think I can do this, and I'm going to give it a try, and I know that I have to put time in. And you are loving the process, and there's a lot of joy that comes in the small achievements. And I think that every day, when you dare yourself to do certain things and you love yourself enough and you have the support of those people that you're connected to, it makes every step a little bit easier.
I agree, 110%. I agree with everything that you said. We have to. Life begins with daring. And because it's something that because there's so many unknowns out there, we have to figure a way to make that choice every single day to move in a new direction or not, to learn something new or not, to envelop something new into our processes, our routines every single day. And if we can do that, in my view, there's lots of joy that can come from that. There's lots of joy, lots of positivity, lots of joy that can emanate and resonate from that. And that's one of the things that I strive to do. Is if life can be boring if you want it to be boring. However, after a while, you'll find yourself, just stagnated. And being stagnated is not really the way to live because your soul's not growing. You're not in any way expanding on or acting on your soul's intentions. We can get so caught up in life that we can't connect when we're supposed to move in a certain direction. That, or we can be so fearful that we don't move in a certain direction that is really good for us, that would be really awesome for us, because we doubt and we fear the unknown. And we doubt our own abilities, and then we also we fear what that holds for us. Thinking about the end result of success or failure instead of the process that's involved in moving through it. And that's one of the things that I really, really, really stress more than anything else is to, if there's something on the show that we talk about, this is to our audience, if it resonates with you, move on it. Take action. Because the fact that it resonated with you is a positive signal that, boom, I need to move on this. Is your body tingling? Is it warming your soul? Is it, whatever it could be doing? And does it make you smile? Those are key signs of that you should be moving in the direction of whatever it is that you encountered. If you have that opportunity, adopt it as something for yourself. Adopt it, weave it into your own existence, and move forward. That's your moving forward. Be open to new information and ideas, and that's the way. That's what living is about in my book.
100%.
Yeah,
and daring to dream. We talk about this a lot. I mean, when you have a dream, and I think that, and I'm a very vivid dreamer, and I think that my life has been a series of that. Like, oh well, I'd like to try that, and I think I can do it, and I just give it a whirl. I don't know exactly how it's going to unfold, and I love to treasure hunt, and I think that that's part of dreaming. You gather all of these little pieces of whatever it is, whether it's the people that are part of your life, part of your journey, and we don't ever know where it's going to lead. I think that I just saw the sweetest little video. It was about a woman who was commenting on the fact that she finally got her husband to read one of the books that she's like so absorbed in, and she said something like, "I'm watching my husband read the last pages," and she captured him like putting the book down and just going, wait, I didn't want it to end. I didn't want it to end. Yeah. And she goes, welcome to my world. And I thought to myself, how many times, and you when you open up the pages of a book, you're expecting to see words, but you don't know where that journey is going to take you.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, and sometimes some people like to read the end of a book. I could never do that. It would drive me nuts. But when you go on that journey and you envision in your mind what those characters look like and the things that you go through, and there are books like that I've read over and over and over again because I didn't want them to end and I wanted to go back into that thing. But your life can be like that. Why not want to live every day connected with people who are loving and share that with the world and bring that out to everywhere, with your smile, whatever it is. I mean, imagine that. If you were writing the pages of your book, what would be unfolding? And you don't know.
No, you don't. A lot of it is going to unfold based on what your own thoughts are. As we both know, and we say this all the time, that our reality is created by our thinking. The reality we experience is a product of our own thought processes. Our own inner conversations, our own perceptions about ourselves and what we're capable of, and life in general. So a lot of it is it's not really, in my view, technical. It's just, hey, be very cognizant of what you're thinking and what you're saying about yourself and your life. And when you see opportunities, be aware of the questions that roll through your mind. Are those questions fear-based, doubt-based? Or are they questions that are expansive and about what can I learn from this? How can this impact me? Can I, how much joy can I get from doing this? It's interesting because Bashar said, and I mentioned this before, but David Anka said that of Bashar, the being he channels something very, very profound, and that is that. Discover what excites you on a smaller scale and a larger scale, and just keep doing that. Whatever passion you have, follow that passion to the end of whatever that end is, and because the feeling that you get from it will open up doors that will help you experience those same feelings, where you can other things you can be compassionate about as well. It's interesting. That, and when you start, that was so profound. I listened to that when I walked, and I said, "Gosh, that's amazing." It's like how many people would love to be doing something, however, they've talked themselves out of it because they don't think they'd be good at it. They don't think something they could really sink their teeth into, but they're concerned about the end game. What if I do this and waste a year doing it? It's not the way to think. The way to think is if you're passionate about something, just simply jump into it. If you want to pick up a brush and start painting, and you do, and it makes you feel really awesome, do more of it. Everything bleeds into everything else. The way you feel about painting will bleed into your relationship life. It'll bleed into your family life. It'll bleed into everything else, the relationship with friends. And one of the things that I find that's really most amazing about this is that like attracts like, of course. So when it comes to daring, here's the question we have to ask ourselves. If we are a daring individual, if we dare to do things, are we attracting people into our lives that are also that way, that dare or take jump out on a dare, jump out and take a risk, small, medium, large, whatever. If we are like that, if we're really truly like that, and we're not, it's not window dressing for us, something we wish we could be doing, but we're actually doing it, it'll make us feel a certain way, and it'll bring other people into our lives who operate on that same level. It's a good question to ask. And other people who aren't on that same level will fall away from us. I always find that interesting. Everyone in my life does that. I know that everybody in my life, that there's exactly like that. They take chances. They go out and take risks. They write music and see if there's a creative thought that goes in their mind, they do it. And whatever it is that they have. A friend of mine down the street set up he likes F1 racing, so he got himself the whole setup, F1 racing setup, and he does it. He does it a little bit every day. Set up a golf hitting area in his garage. He loves that. He's off doing stuff. And and I look at this and I go, wow, this is kind of cool. I love the way he just if he decides to, he's a musician as well, so he'll spend some time if he gets a thought. He goes and spends time in the studio and runs it through to its final conclusion. And that's really it. It's not about whether you carry it on for a lifetime. It's about if you become passionate about something, just go after it. Just do it. And let the good feelings flow from it. And when it's over, it's over. That's it. It could be a week. It could be a month. It could be a year. It could be 10 years. I don't sit around and play my drums every day. I'm very passionate about playing. However, I have so many passions that I don't do all of them all the time. But when I sit down on that set, I love playing, and I enjoy it. And then I won't play again for several weeks, and then I sit down on it and play 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, and that's pretty much the extent of it. I don't feel guilty about not playing. I've played all my life. I've had many joyful experiences, but that's it. Same thing about golf. I've played 3 times in the last 2.5 months. Whether looking at this, learning something from this Etsy shop, learning about how to create it, and the passion just kind of shifts and changes. It's not that I don't, want to play golf. I did last week. It was fine. It was great. I had a wonderful time. And this is what we do. We somehow cover ourselves into thinking that this is me, defining ourselves by this one thing, when really we don't know what our soul's intentions are. Again, we don't know what they are. There may be something else that comes along that we're made aware of that is a track that is of interest to us, makes us feel a certain way, a very positive way inside, a little tingly, and we go after it, or we don't. In some cases, people don't go after it because it may be a little bit, for them, their belief system may have it being out there a little bit. That Samari conversation kind of fell into that category for, you go for this or you don't go for it.
Right.
But it's cool, and the beauty of it is that nobody else has to know what you're doing. It's all you. It's what you do, what you decide to do. You're passionate about something. You don't have to share it with the world on social media and get a collective, okay, that's great. Why don't you do that? Because other people aren't aware of how you feel. They don't know what excites you. Right?
Oh, no. You're 100% right, Michael. And I think that it's so important to dare to take the first step on your journey and remember that it's your journey, not anybody else's journey. You get one life in this body, and whatever it is that you want to do, I've never in any of the relationships that I've been in, I never held anybody back from what it was that they wanted to do, because I get it. There's things that I just feel compelled to. And I saw a comedian the other day, and he was saying how in your 20s you're like, some of your friends are like, yeah, let's go out. You're like, yeah, I don't even know where we're going, but yeah, let's go out. And then he said in your 30s you're like, well, I'll go out, but, I'm going to drive. And then when you're in your 40s, it's like, nah, I don't want to go out. But It just made me laugh. Like, it was such a silly thing. But I could relate to that because I think as you grow and you become more self-aware, and maybe it does come with age. Maybe it's not just like being in that childhood game on the playground where you're being dared to do something. You get to the point where, no, you know what, this feels right to me. And no, not so much, because there's these other things that I would rather be doing. And having enough self-love to know that that's okay, that your friends will still be there, and the people that love you will still be there if you're not available, because guess what? I've got to do this thing that's important to me.
Yeah, you're doing something that's important to you. Yeah, again.
And daring to know that truth. Mm-hmm.
I would be very suspect of anyone in my life, any connection that poo-pooed anything that I thought about doing. I'd be like, oh, where's that come from? Because they don't understand. We're attracted to people who are like us. However, we're always we're continually evolving, and our passions are changing, our focus is changing, our intentions are changing. All this is like a big moving target. The end game is frayed in the million different directions. And so what is of interest today may not be of interest 6 months from now. Something else might have come in there, because we again have intentions for this life. We have intentions. Mm-hmm. Our soul has intentions. And these are growth intentions. These are ascension intentions. They are what we've decided to this life is about. And to get caught up in something that is completely and totally irrelevant to that, you can do. However, you're only going to be doing it for so long, because sooner or later you're either going to get the fact that something is going to cross your path that's going to remind you, that's going to resonate with you, that is totally and completely away from what you've focused on, right? And that thing it's there for a reason. It's there for a purpose. And you have to pay attention to how you feel about things, and what your thought processes are, and how your body is reacting, how your mind is reacting, how you're feeling, to say, oh, wait a minute, I ought to pay attention to that thing over there. That thing now, that was of interest to me. And if you turn around and tell somebody else and they poo-poo your idea, and you're just literally not paying attention to yourself, you're paying attention to somebody who doesn't really know you. They don't know how you feel. Other people are never going to know how you feel. I don't care how well you explain it. They're never going to understand how you feel. When your hand is shaking and tingling, when your legs, you get this tingle all over your body, or down your left leg or your right leg, and your heart starts racing, or whatever it may be, when you pay attention to those things in relationship to how you feel, in relationship to what you're encountering and the new things that you're exposed to, you're going to get a sense of which direction you're supposed to move in. And sometimes, it was really interesting. I don't know what this is about this, but there was another young lady I sent you a video of, I think last week, that was a channel for somebody else, Pleiadians or something, but she said she talked about how she became a channeler, and how she was so afraid to tell her kids and her husband and everybody else because of what they would think about her, because it's so out there. Yet this was something that she felt so strongly about, and she went on with it. She went in that direction. And what happened is, unfortunately, the people that she was around, her husband especially, it didn't, and other friends in her life, including rest of her own family, it didn't resonate with them. To them, they were all in their little square box of beliefs, and they couldn't embrace that thing that she felt so passionate about, that she felt so strongly to move into the direction of, so to speak, right? And how often does this occur? That was just one example. So she and her husband ended up splitting. He became a has-been. Unfortunate that he couldn't embrace what it was that she was resonating, the direction that she was moving in. Some people in relationships, when male or female, one partner or the other decides, hey, I'm threatened by the direction you're moving in because that direction doesn't include me. Doesn't mean it can't include you, but this is the shame of relationships in my view, because if people are open to just accepting what somebody else is what's resonating with someone else, what passion, new passion or otherwise, why be suspect? Why be doubtful? Why throw water on their fire? We don't know. We're not privy to what anybody's mission is here in life. I say that all the time, and I practice what I preach. I don't tell anybody what I do. I do it because I enjoy it, and it's not a threat to anything or anyone, and it makes me feel really joyful. And I understand that I'm moving in a direction that makes me feel good. And this is what we have to do.
So beautiful.
Prepare yourself to feel good. Hey, there you go.
100%, Michael.
I knew I would wrap this right back around to the dare again. I went out there on a limb and I came back.
Did. Oh no! So I know, and here we are. Our time just seems to just fly by, and so I'm just going to leave our audience, because you just wrapped everything up so eloquently, with just one double dog dare. Discover something new this week. Discover a new heart to love, a new friend to make, a new something, whatever it is, to wonder at. And so I double dog dare you. And I'm going to give myself that challenge too.
Me too. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Keep doing that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.